Guys, I hope I'm audible to all. Ashok sir, please mute. So please check I'm audible to everyone. Ashok sir, are you there? Ashok sir, are you there? Manish sir? Please check, am I audible to everyone? Everything okay? Okay, sir. Thank you. Sorry, guys. So now in the last session, I gave you a question. Very good morning, everyone. I'm really sorry that there was a delay from our end. There were some technical issues. So now it is fixed. So let's start, guys. In the last session, I gave you a question wherein you guys have to calculate the value of units transferred and value of closing work in progress. So waiting for your answers, guys. I have got answer from Prachi Kapoor. Yes, Prachi, your answer is correct. I have got answer from Dhyanesh also. Your answer is correct. Jyoti Jha, your answer is correct. Yes, Alok. Waiting for your answer, guys. Okay, there is an answer from Shreya Shah. So good morning. I've got the answer of your homework question. Value of units transferred, perfect. Value of closing work in progress is also perfect. Answer is correct. Very good. Virali, very good. Kavita Chandak, good morning. You should have checked it over YouTube, Manoj. Okay, Sunil Kumar, yes, very good. Your answer is correct. So now I can figure out that most of the students are thorough with the concept of equivalent number of units. Still, for your reference, I'm solving this question. So still for your reference, I'm solving this question. Very good, Sraboni. Your answer is correct. So if we prepare process account, so to material will be 12,000 is the input and the value of material is 96,000. To labor will be 81,200 and to overheads is 56,000. By process second and by work in progress. When talking about the number of units, the units transferred to process second is 10,000 and the number of units that are still in process is 2,000. Now we'll prepare a statement of equivalent production wherein the first column will be particulars, the second column will be total. Now, since percentage of completion of material, labor and overhead, everything is different, so three column will be prepared: material, labor and overheads. The percentage of completion and units, the percentage of completion and units, and the percentage of completion and units. Of this, units transferred are 10,000. So units transferred 10,000 units. Since these units are transferred to the next process, we will assume that they are 100% processed. So 10,000, 100%, 10,000, 100%, 10,000. When talking about closing work in progress, the units that are still in process is 2,000. They are 100% complete as far as material is concerned. So 2,000, 80% complete in respect of labor. So 1,600 and 60% complete in respect of overhead. Therefore 1,200. So this will be 12,000 units. This will be 11,600 units. And this will be 11,200 units. So after preparation of statement of equivalent production, we'll calculate the cost per unit. When talking about material cost, the material cost is 96,000 divided by number of units is 12,000. So this will be 8. When talking about labor cost, the cost is 81,200 divided by 11,600. So the cost will be 7. And when talking about overheads, the cost is 56,000 divided by 11,200. So this will be 5. So my total cost will be 20. So when talking about units transferred, this will be 10,000 into 20. That is 2 lakh. When talking about closing work in progress, material is 2,000 units. So 2,000 into 8. The equivalent number of units of labor are 1,600. So 1,600 into 7. And the equivalent number of overhead units are 1,200. So 1,200 into 5, this will be 33,200. Very good, Kushi. Very good, Shivani. Very good, Sraboni. I hope you guys are thorough with this part. If you guys have any doubts or queries in this part, you guys can please post your queries. Very good morning, Pranav. I hope you have solved this question, Pranav. Very good, Nikita. Very good, Sri Lakshmi. Now guys, this is till now when talking about what we discussed, that is the concept of equivalent number of units, wherein a very basic question, the basic questions what we have discussed till now. Now moving towards the next part of the chapter, wherein when if opening work in progress is given. अब तक हमने जो डिस्कस किया जिसमें क्या था कि इनपुट्स के दो ब्रेकअप थे. When talking about the breakup, it was first the units transferred, and second point is what about the closing work in progress. Now the point is, what if in case opening work in progress is given in the question? Let's say I have an opening work in progress of 2000 units. Let's say my inputs are 10,000 units. So total 12,000 units we have. Out of this 12,000 units, let's say units transferred are 8,000 and closing work in progress is 4,000. Now the point is, guys, how to value these units transferred? Because 8,000 units that are transferred can be from opening work in progress also and can be from inputs also. The point is how to value units transferred and closing work in progress. So here ICAI has suggested two approaches. When talking about the valuation of units transferred and closing work in progress, when opening work in progress is given in the question, when opening work in progress is given in the question, so in talking about the valuation part, two approaches are possible. The first one is FIFO and second one is weighted average. When talking about FIFO method, first in, first out, the units that are first in the process will be transferred first. So herein, the total number of units transferred are 8,000 units. So when talking about valuation of these 8,000 units, 2,000 units will be transferred from opening work in progress and balance 6,000 units will be transferred from the inputs that are made during them. So this is what the concept of FIFO, wherein first in, first out. So if units transferred in this case are 8,000 units, then since it is FIFO method, so 2,000 units will be transferred from opening work in progress and 6,000 units will be transferred from inputs. There are many more methods, but since ICAI has suggested only two methods, so we'll be referring only two methods, that is FIFO method and weighted average method. When talking about the concept of weighted average method, I'll be discussing this with the help of a practical question only. So we'll not go into this part. We'll be discussing with the help of practical question. As far as FIFO method is concerned, the opening work in progress will be first process and then the inputs will be processed and that will be transferred to the next process. So if you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries, else we'll start with the practical questions. Very good morning, Abdul. I'll be uploading few questions, Sunil Kumar. Don't worry, fresh questions. Kavita, it is not advised in the study material. That's why we are not discussing LIFO method. If it is LIFO method, then the number of input is 10,000 units and the units transferred are 8,000. Then all these 8,000 units will be transferred from inputs only if it is a LIFO method. But since ICAI is referring only to FIFO method and weighted average method, that's why we'll be discussing this part only. Apart from this, this part is already covered in detail in material costing. So I hope you guys are thorough with what is FIFO method and what is weighted average method. So those who want to copy this part can please copy, else we'll start with the practical question. Very good morning, Priyanka. I hope you have solved the questions what I gave in the last session. So those who want to copy this part can please copy, else we'll proceed further with the next part. That is the practical question number 5 of my material. Yes, any doubts, Nikita, Pranav, Manisha, Sunil Kumar, Saipa, Virali? Very good, Priyanka. I'll be discussing with the help of the practical questions, Sri Lakshmi. Don't worry. No, it can be in process 2 also, Dhyanesh. Now, without wasting time, let's start with example number 5 of the material what I have provided. That is equivalent basic. This question covers the following points wherein the opening work in progress is given in the question. Apart from this, this question does not consider any normal loss, abnormal loss, or abnormal gain. This I will be discussing in the next question. Why? What happened, Priyanka? So let's start with example number 5, that is equivalent basic, wherein following information is available regarding process A for the month of January 2020. The production records are given as units in process as on 1st January 2020, that is 4,000 units. New units introduced, that is 16,000 units. Units completed and transferred to the next process is 14,000 units. Units in process as on 31st January is 6,000. So herein the information is given as regards opening work in progress, inputs, units transferred, and closing work in progress. Further, the details of the opening work in progress are given. The total cost of opening work in progress is 8,000. Costs during the month are material, labor, and overheads. The total is 55,600. You are required to prepare statement of equivalent production, statement showing cost for each element, statement of apportionment of cost, process cost for process A, using both FIFO method and weighted average method. So let's start, guys, with this question, example number 5. We'll prepare process account first. Herein the opening work in progress is given, that is 4,000 units. So 2 4,000 units, and the cost of these 4,000 units is 8,000. The input during the year is 16,000 units. And the total cost of material is 25,600. The labor cost is 15,000. And overhead cost is also 15,000. Further, the units transferred to the next process is 14,000. By process second, 14,000. And by closing work in progress. By closing work in progress is 6,000. My total cost is 63,600. Now we have to calculate the total cost of units transferred and value of work in progress. Now, the next step is we'll prepare statement of equivalent production. The first column will be particulars. Since the percentage of completion of labor and overhead is same in case of opening work in progress and closing work in progress, so we'll be preparing only one column, that is labor and overheads. The percentage of completion and units. The percentage of completion and very good, Mr. Aslam. Now, we'll be using FIFO method to solve the question first. And thereafter, we will start with weighted average method. So now guys, the total number of units transferred are 14,000. So since we are using FIFO method, so these 14,000 units will be first transferred from 4,000 units will be transferred from opening work in progress, and the balance 10,000 units will be transferred from input made during the year. I repeat again, guys, since we are transferring 14,000 units to the next process, so the name itself says FIFO, first in, first out. So when talking about these 14,000 units, 4,000 units will be transferred from opening work in progress, and the balance will be transferred from the inputs that are made during the year. So let's start. So when talking about units transferred, it will be from opening work in progress. How many units? 4,000 units. And the balance from the units started and completed. That is 10,000 units. Now, very important point, guys. The opening work in progress is 4,000 units. It is given in the question itself that the material work is already done 100%. That is, as far as material is concerned, it is 100% processed. But when talking about the work that is completed last month, that is labor and overheads, is only 25% complete. I repeat again, guys, in the previous month, as far as these 4,000 units is concerned, the material is already put it into the process. Material पूरा process में डाल दिया था last month ही. But the labor and overhead work was completed only up to 25%. This work was done in the month of December. So when talking about in the month of January, no material cost will be incurred because material work is already done in the last month itself. And when talking about labor and overhead, since it is already processed up to 25% in the last month, so balance 75% work will be done in this month. So herein, no work will be done on material, so that's why it will be nil. And when talking about labor and overheads, 25% work is already done last month. So when talking about the work done in the month of January, it is only 75%. So this will be 3,000. When talking about units started and completed, since the input was made during the month, so 100% work is done on material. And since they are transferred to the next process, so 100% work is done in respect of labor and overheads also. So this is all what about 14,000 units that are transferred to the next process. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your query. Yes, very good, Abdul. Kavita, Chandak, do you have any doubts in this part, Kavita? See, 25% work was already completed in respect of opening work in progress in the last month itself. So the balance amount of work that is done during this month is 75% in respect of opening work in progress. Now, this is all what about the units that are transferred. Now, let's talk about closing work in progress. The closing work in progress is 6,000 units. These 6,000 units are from what? Closing work in progress. These 6,000 units are from what? From the inputs that are made during the year. Because when talking about the units transferred, 4,000 was from opening work in progress and 10,000 was from the input made during the year. So the balance 6,000 units are from where? Inputs made during the year. So now, whatever the work that is done on closing work in progress represents the work done this month itself. So herein, when talking about the closing work in progress, it is given that material is 100% complete. It means what? This 100% work is done in this month only. That is 6,000. When talking about labor and overhead, they were completed up to 33.33%. So this is 2,000. So the equivalent number of units of material is 16,000 and in respect of labor and overhead is 15,000. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your query. Yes, see, since we are considering the units processed in the month of January, so we'll be taking only, when talking about the calculation of cost per unit, we'll be taking only the cost of the month of January only. Can you please elaborate what is your query, Shivani? Very good, Abdul. Very good, Shri Lakshmi. Kavita, Priyanka, any doubts? Priyanka, you are not able to solve the questions. So I hope you are thorough with what I have discussed in this part. Waiting for your queries. If you guys have any doubts in this part, please post your query. Kavita and Priyanka specifically, since you are not being able to solve the question. Yanesh, hopefully your query is resolved. See, Shivani, since these units are transferred to the next process, so we will assume that the work that is completed in respect of this process is 100% complete. Any doubts, Abdul? Manisha, Pranav, any doubts? Nikita, Sraboni? Sraboni, you have mentioned in the previous session that when you will be discussing when the questions when there is opening work in progress. So I hope you are thorough with what I have discussed till now, Sraboni. Mr. Yeduru Santosh Kumar, sir, present labor and overheads are 30% only completed if given in it is given in the question. Yes, Santosh Kumar, it is given in the question that is labor and overheads are 33.33% complete. It is there in the question, Mr. Santosh Kumar. Okay, Shreya Shah, sir, can you please explain once again the closing work in progress? So when talking about closing work in progress, these 6,000 units are transferred from the inputs that are made during the year. मतलब हमने raw material जो है वो इसी month में introduce किया था. So it is given in the question that when talking about these 6,000 units, the material is 100%. The material is thrown into the process 100%. मतलब पूरा material हमने डाल दिया है, मगर labor और overhead का काम कितना complete हुआ है? 33.33%. So the entire material was introduced into the process. It is given in the question that 100% material was introduced into the process. So 6,000 into 100%, that is 6,000. As far as the work that is done by labor and the overheads are incurred, that is only 33% of the total work. So herein, the 33% work is completed in respect of material, labor and overhead. So 6,000 into 33.33, that is 2,000. Very good, Priyanka. I repeat again, in case of closing work in progress, क्वेश्चन में क्लियरली कहा है कि 100% मटेरियल हमने इनपुट कर दिया है, बट इन रेस्पेक्ट ऑफ लेबर एंड ओवरहेड ओनली 33% काम कंप्लीट हुआ है. सो मटेरियल 100% इनपुट कर दिया है, दैट इज 6,000, बट इन रेस्पेक्ट ऑफ लेबर एंड ओवरहेड ओनली 33.33% काम हुआ है. सो 6,000 into 33.33%, that is 2,000. Very good, Alok. Very good, Prachi. I hope, Shreya, your query is resolved. Shreya Shah. So now, let's see what the question is asking. The question is asking us to prepare the statement of equivalent production, statement showing cost for each element. So let's prepare. Yes, Jyoti, I've got your answer. Let me check whether it is correct or not. So now next we will prepare a statement of apportionment of cost. Sorry, statement showing cost for each element. So let's prepare statement showing cost for each element. So when talking about material cost, the cost that is incurred during the month is 25,600. Now this 16,000 and 15,000 represents what? The units that are processed during this month. So we will take the cost that is incurred during this month for calculation of cost per unit. So here in my material cost incurred is 25,600 divided by equivalent number of units, that is 16,000. So this will be 1.6. When talking about labor cost that is incurred during the month, it is 15,000. And the units that are processed, the equivalent number of units that are processed in respect of labor is 15,000 units in this month. So 15,000, so this will be 1. And overheads also, 15,000 are the total overheads divided by equivalent number of units in respect of overhead is 15,000. So this will be 1. So the total cost per unit is 3.6. So this is all what about statement showing cost for each element. See, these 16,000 and 15,000 represent what? The units processed in month of Jan. Equivalent units. The better word is equivalent units. So that's why we are taking the cost that is incurred in the month of Jan. We have ignored the cost of opening work in progress. The main reason is why? Because these units represents what? These equivalent units represents what? The units that are processed in the month of Jan. So that's why for calculating cost per unit, we are taking only the cost that is incurred in the month of Jan. Now, we'll prepare the next statement. That is statement showing apportionment of cost. Geet Chauhan, very good Geet. First and the foremost thing, very good morning Geet. Let me check your answer is correct. Yes, your answer is correct. But I have to check the final answer. Sunil Kumar, I'll be answering your query after discussing this question completely. Alok Shivlani, I have to check. Nikita, let me check, my dear. Khushi, let me check. Abdul, if there is... I'll be discussing this part in the next question. Don't worry, Abdul. Now, statement showing apportionment of cost. So we have to calculate the cost of units that are transferred and the value of work in progress. So let's start. Let's talk about units transferred first. Now these 14,000 units are transferred to the next process. Of these, 4,000 units were from opening work in progress. So we have to take the cost of opening work in progress plus the cost that is incurred during the month. So from opening work in progress, there are 4,000 units. So the cost that is already incurred on 4,000 units in the last month that is given in the question, that is rupees 8,000. This cost is incurred in the previous month, that is 8,000. I repeat again, total 14,000 units are transferred to the next process. Of this 4,000 units represents what? Opening work in progress. So ये 4,000 units का previous month का cost लेंगे plus ये 4,000 units पे इस month में कितना खर्चा हुआ है वो भी लेंगे. So cost incurred for further processing of opening WIP. So in respect of these 4,000 units, the balance cost incurred only in case of labor and overhead. The equivalent number of units for labor is 3,000. So 3,000 into 1, and overheads also 3,000 into 1. So total is 6,000. So the total cost of these 4,000 units is how much? 8,000 plus 6,000. 8,000 that is incurred in the previous month and 6,000 that is incurred during this month. So the total cost of 4,000 units is how much? 14,000. Now let's talk about the units that have started and completed. So units started and completed. Very simple, guys. Total 10,000 units were introduced in the process and they were completed and transferred to the next process. So 10,000 units, since they were 100% processed during this month only, so the total cost is 3.6. So this will be 36,000. So the total cost of units transferred will be how much? 36,000 plus 642 plus 8. That is the cost that is incurred in the previous month. So this will be 50,000. So the 50,000 will be the value of units that are transferred to the next process. Now let's calculate the value of closing work in progress. Very simple, guys. When talking about material, the equivalent number of units are how much? 6,000 units. Therefore, 6,000 into 1.6. When talking about labor, the equivalent number of units are how much? 2,000. So 2,000 into 1. And overheads also the same. So this is the full-fledged question wherein what if in case opening work in progress is given in the question. This is the way you have to present the solution in the exams. So if you guys have any doubts as far as concepts are concerned or the way how to present, you guys can please post your query. So waiting for your queries further, I request you guys to please copy the solution. Okay, very good Prachi, very good Sri Lakshmi, very good Mr. Aslam, very good Alok. Yes, your answers are correct. Khushi, your answer is correct. Very good morning, Ismail. Muhammad Aslam, your answer is correct. Dhyanesh, your answer is correct. Sri Lakshmi, correct answer. Nikita, Namal, correct answer. Alok, your answer was partially correct. I think you have skipped this part, that is to add the total cost of opening work in progress. Rest all everything is correct. Very good, Geet Chauhan, your answer is correct. Okay, Kavita, sir, statement of apportionment of cost, please explain it again. So Kavita, when talking about statement of apportionment of cost, the units transferred are 14,000 units. Out of these 4,000 units, 14,000 units, 4,000 were from opening work in progress. So ये 4,000 यूनिट्स पे प्रीवियस मंथ में कितना खर्चा हुआ था? 8,000. अब इस मंथ भी कुछ प्रोसेसिंग किया था. क्या प्रोसेसिंग किया था? लेबर एंड ओवरहेड, and that too also 75%. So the equivalent number of units for labor is 3,000. So 3,000 into 1, and overheads also 3,000 into 1. So the total cost incurred on these 4,000 units is how much? 6,000. So the total cost of opening work in progress is how much? 14,000. Now the remaining units were transferred from inputs that are made during the year. So we have written units started and completed. How many? 10,000 units. So 10,000 units into 3.6, that is 36,000. So my total cost of units transferred is 36,000 plus 14,000, that is 50,000. When talking about closing work in progress, very simple. The work done in respect of material is on 6,000 units. So 6,000 into 1.6. Similarly, for labor, the equivalent number of units are 2,000. So 2,000 into 1, that is 2,000. And overheads also 2,000 into 1, that is 2,000. So this is how I have calculated the cost of closing work in progress. Manisha, better calculate the value of closing work in progress. That is advisable. Very good, Priyanka. See, Dhyanesh, when talking about the cost of units that are transferred to the next process, see, these 14,000 units are transferred to the next process. Now, out of these 14,000 units, 4,000 units were from opening work in progress. So we have to calculate the total cost of opening work in progress. That is, see, ये जो 14,000 units है, इसका total cost निकालना है. 4,000 का भी total cost निकालना है, 10,000 का भी total cost निकालना है. When talking about 4,000 units, जो cost previous month incur हुआ, वो भी लेंगे, plus वो cost जो इस month incur हुआ, वो भी लेंगे. This is how we will get the cost of these 4,000 units, the total cost of these 4,000 units. That's why I have taken 8,000 rupees. Smile, I have taken this using FIFO method only, my dear. Kavita, hopefully your query is resolved. I request you guys to please copy this part. Ismail, I have discussed FIFO method only. Vedant Vora, can you be please, Vedant Vora, can you be please more clear and precise what exactly you are asking? Smile, I have discussed only FIFO method. Okay, got your query, Smile. See, these 4,000 units were opening work in progress, जिसके ऊपर 100% material previous month ही introduce कर दिया था. And when talking about the work that is already completed previous month, that is 25%. So this in the month of January, how much work was done in respect of these 4,000 units? As far as material is concerned, since material was introduced in the previous month itself, So no material cost plus the labor and overhead, 25% work was done in the previous month. So balance 75% work is done in this month. Okay, Prachi. See, there are two methods, Vedant, FIFO method and weighted average method. I'll be discussing weighted average method in this question, in the same question only. So now thereafter you can identify that what is the difference between FIFO method and weighted average method. Yes, the words can be used interchangeably, Abdul, depending upon question to question. Now, guys, we'll be discussing the weighted average method in this question only. So since the question is mentioned to solve this question as per weighted average method also, see, this is the solution as per FIFO method. We can convert it into the weighted average method. So how come? Very simple, guys. Let me discuss this separately. Then I will teach you how to convert FIFO statement into weighted average. That will be better. So better let me discuss this part separately. Then I'll teach you how to convert the statement of FIFO into weighted average method. Yes, Sunil Kumar, if opening work in progress in respect of material, labor or overhead is given 60% is work is completed in the previous month, it means what? The work that is done during this month will be 40%. Now let's start with the same. Let's start with the method, weighted average method, how to approach a question. So if we are solving the question using weighted average method, no need to bifurcate how much is opening work in progress, how much is units started and completed. Very simple, right? Straightforward. That is units transferred are how much? Total units transferred are 14,000. So 100%, 14,000. 100%, 14,000. I repeat again, in case of weighted average method, no need to bifurcate how much was opening work in progress, that is the work completed previous year, how much was the work completed during this year. So no need to bifurcate. 1 second, guys. So no need to bifurcate about opening work in progress and units started and completed. Simply write units transferred are 14,000. They are 100% process. So 14,000, 100% process 14,000. Similarly, for closing work in progress, the approach will be the same. Wherein the units are 6,000. They are 100% completed in respect of material. So 6,000 and in case of labor and overhead, they are only 33% complete, so it will take 2,000. So the total equivalent number of units in respect of material is 20,000 and in respect of labor and overhead is 16,000. So this is the way you have to prepare the statement of equivalent production. Now, what is this 20,000 and 16,000? It means what? The work that is completed previous month, and the work that has been completed this month. This 20,000 represents what? The work completed this month and previous month. The work that has been completed this month and the work that has been completed previous month. Because we are taking these 14,000 units as 100%. It means what? 100% means what? The work that has been processed this month and the work that has been processed in the previous month. That's why we are taking 100%. So herein, when talking about the statement showing statement showing cost per unit. So when talking about material part, the cost incurred during this month is 25,600. These costs represents what? The cost that is incurred during the month of January, that is 25,600. Now, since we are taking these 100% unit, that is 4,000 units, the opening work in progress also we are taking 100%. It represents what? These 4,000 units represent what? Opening work in progress. And since we are taking the work completed in the previous month and the work completed in this month, so we will add the cost that is incurred in the previous month. That is 6,000. Whole divided by 20,000. Similarly, for labor, again, the cost that is incurred is 15,000 plus the cost that is incurred previous month is 1,000 divided by 16,000. In case of overheads also, in the same way, 15,000, that is the cost incurred this month plus the cost incurred previous month divided by 16,000. So this will be 1, this will be 1, and this will be 25,600 plus 6,000 divided by 20,000. So this will be 1.58. So the total cost will be 3.58. The weighted average cost will be 3.58. So when talking about the calculation of cost of units transferred, this 3.58 represents what? The cost that is incurred in the previous month and the cost that is incurred in this month. So herein, when talking about units transferred, very simple guys, total 14,000 units are transferred into 3.58. So this will be 14,000 into 3.58. 50,120. And units in process. In the same way, we will calculate that is material is 6,000. So 6,000 into 1.58. Labor is 2,000, 2,000 into the cost as calculated is 1. And overheads also 2,000 into 1. So this will be 13,480. So this is how this cost of 63,600 will be apportioned among the units transferred and the closing work in progress. So if you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. Very good, Priyanka. Very good, Nikita. Your answer is correct. Very good, Sri Lakshmi. Dhyanesh, very good. Very good, Geet Chauhan. Khushi Surutia, very good. Sri Lakshmi, very good. Dhyanesh, very good. All of you guys, your answers are correct. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. How I have solved this question. Those who want to copy the solution can please copy. Kavita Chandak, any doubts? Any doubts, Abdul? Smile. Hopefully, you are thorough with the concept of weighted average method. Dhyanesh Ingle, the better one is the much more easier method is weighted average method. So once the question is silent, you can follow the weighted average method approach. Okay, sir, please tell me how come 6,000 and 1,000 came? Where is 6,000? Vedant Voras, sir, the values of 6,000 from the statement of equivalent production are the values that have been completed. So how did you calculate work in progress using them? So guys, Vedant, the closing work in progress is 6,000 units. And as far as material is concerned, it is 100% introduced in the process and that is given in the question. As far as labor and overhead is concerned, only 33% work is done. It means the equivalent number of units will be how much? 2,000 units. That is 6,000 divided by 3 or 6,000 into 33.33%. That is 2,000. So the equivalent number of units for these 6,000 units that are closing work in progress in respect of material, it is 6,000. In respect of labor and overhead, it is 2,000. So when talking about the calculation of closing work in progress, the material cost is 6,000 into 1.58. These units, 6,000 and 2,000 units are the units that represents that they are 100% complete. That is what the equivalent number of units says. So 6,000 into 1.58, 2,000 into 1 and 2,000 into 1. See, when talking about this 6,000, 1,000 and 1,000, it represents what? The cost that is incurred in the previous month. I request you guys to please copy this part. I'll explain you in a better way. I request you guys to please copy this part. मैं बता रहा हूं कविता, डोंट वरी. It is given in the question, Pranav. Pranav Vashist, it is given in the question 6,000, 1,000 and 1,000 is the cost of opening work in progress. See, let me discuss this with one more way for better understanding of the concepts. Now, what we did in FIFO, we will complete first. As per FIFO, we prepared statement like total units transferred. I'm solving it as per FIFO method, and then I'll convert it into weighted average method. Then I'll explain you why I have added 6,000, 1,000 and 1,000. So when talking about the opening work in progress, the units were 4,000. And as far as work done this month, it is 75% in respect of labor and overheads, that is 3,000. Thereafter, units started and completed, that is 10,000 units. So 100%, 10,000, 100%, 10,000. This is all what about units that are transferred. And when talking about closing work in progress, there were 6,000 units. They were 100% processed during this month. And in respect of labor and overhead, they were processed up to 33.33% in this month. So that was 2,000. So this was the equivalent statement as per FIFO method. This is the statement of equivalent production as per FIFO method. This is the statement of equivalent production as per FIFO method. Now, since we have to calculate the cost as per weighted average method, the weighted average method says what? The weighted average cost. So what we have done is that we can convert this statement into weighted average method also. Weighted average method says total cost divided by total units. That is what we have done. That is the total cost, that is the cost that is incurred in this month plus the cost that is incurred in the previous month divided by total number of units. So this is the units that are processed in this month. If we add the units that are processed in the previous month, we will get the total units processed. So when talking about the units that are processed in the previous month, it represents opening work in progress, that is 4,000 units. These 4,000 units is opening work in progress. Now we will calculate the equivalent number of units that are processed in the previous month. So opening work in progress is 4,000 units. When talking about the material work done in the previous month, it is 100%. So 4,000. As far as labor and overhead work done in the previous month is how much? 75% was completed this year. It means what? 25% was completed last year. So 4,000 into 25%, that is 1,000. So the total is 20,000 and 16,000. So herein, if we have prepared the statement of equivalent production using FIFO method, we can convert it into weighted average method by simply adding the work that is done last year. Now guys, let's get back to the point that statement showing cost per unit. This 25,600 represents what? The cost on these 16,000 units. This 25,600, that is the cost that is incurred during this month, represent what? The cost that is incurred on these 16,000 units. Plus 6,000 represents what? The cost that is incurred in the previous month on these 4,000 units. Divided by total number of units, that is 20,000. This is how I got the weighted average cost per unit. I repeat again, guys, very simple, very important, guys. This 25,600 is the cost that is incurred during this month. On how many units? 16,000 units. Plus 6,000. This is the cost that is incurred on the work that is done in the previous month. This is the previous month cost that is incurred on these units that are processed in the previous month. That is 4,000 units. So 25,600, the cost incurred during the month, plus the cost incurred during the previous month, divided by the total number of units processed, that is 16,000 plus 4,000, 20,000. This is how I got 1.58. And this is all what concept about weighted average method. That is the total cost divided by total units. Similarly, in respect of labor also, the cost इस महीने कितना खर्चा हुआ? 15,000 rupees. कितने units पे? 15,000 units पे. Last month कितना खर्चा हुआ? 1,000 rupees. किसके ऊपर? Labor के ऊपर. Last month units कितने process किए? 1,000. How come 1,000? 4,000 units were opening work in progress that were 25% complete. It means what? The equivalent number of units for the previous month is how much? 1,000. That is 4,000 into 25%. So we have added the cost that is incurred in the previous month divided by the total number of units. That is 15,000 plus 1,000. That is the units that are processed in this month and the units that are processed in the previous month. So this is how we will calculate the cost per unit. So I hope now you guys can thoroughly figure out that what is the concept of weighted average method. Now, if you guys have any doubts how to solve the questions or any conceptual doubt, sir, why you have added 1,000, you guys can please post your query. So waiting for your queries, guys. Abdul, if previous month cost is not given, then we can't apportion and we can't use the, see, if the previous month percentage of completion is not given in the question, then we can't use FIFO method. Work in progress and units in process are the same thing. So waiting for your queries, guys. Vedant Vora, hopefully your query is resolved. ध्यानेश, कविता का क्वेरी था सर कि प्रीवियस मंथ की कॉस्ट क्यों इंक्लूड की? इसलिए इंक्लूड की कविता क्योंकि प्रीवियस मंथ के यूनिट्स भी हमने कंसीडर कर लिए. प्रीवियस मंथ के यूनिट्स मतलब क्या? 4,000 units that were processed in the previous month in respect of material, 1,000 units, the units that are processed in respect of labor and overhead. Vedant Vora, Kavita, Dhyanesh, any doubts? Sraboni Das, you were asking for FIFO method and weighted average method. Hopefully your queries are resolved, Sraboni. So if you have prepared the statement as for FIFO method, you can convert it into weighted average method. Like the work that this represents what? This represents till here the work represent what? The work done this month. Plus this represents what? Work done previous month. So that's why we have taken the cost of this month plus the cost of previous month divided by the units of this month plus the units of previous month. Sushil Kumar Barik, I request you to please download the material what I have provided. It is clearly given in the question. That is, in case of opening work in progress of 4,000 units, the material cost is 6,000, the labor cost is 1,000, and the overhead cost is 1,000. I have not apportioned, my dear, that is given in the question. No worries, Vedant. Kavita, आपका डाउट क्लियर हुआ? Priyanka, any doubts? Shivani, any doubts? This chapter, this concept is very, very important from examination point of view. So whatever, even if you have a small query also, you guys can please post your query. Examiner do ask question frequently on this work in progress, on this concept of equivalent number of units. If the percentage of completion of opening work in progress is not given in the question, then we can't use FIFO method. So first check if the percentage of completion of opening work in progress is given or not. Further, from examination point of view, you have to follow the instructions that are given in the question. If the question has instructed you to solve the question using FIFO method, then better use FIFO method. If they are saying to use weighted average method, then use weighted average method. But yes, if the question is silent, I personally advise you to use weighted average method because it is comparatively easier than the FIFO method. Because FIFO method में क्या होता है, examination pressure में कई बार students गलती भी करते हैं. Yes, Abdul, you can present the solution in my way, but very important, don't use this approach. Better use the approach what I have discussed before this part. That is, when talking about weighted average method, simply write units transferred, closing work in progress, that's it. No need to solve using FIFO method and then add the work that has been completed previous year. The way I taught you, follow that approach only. This is just for your better understanding that why we are adding these costs to calculate the cost per unit. So this is just for your understanding, but don't follow this approach. कुछ ना कुछ आप गड़बड़ कर देंगे एग्जाम में. So follow the approach what I have discussed previously in respect of weighted average method. See, Vedant Vora, in FIFO method, we concentrate on the cost that is incurred during this month. But in weighted average method, we consider the cost that is incurred in this month and in the previous month. So now guys, once again, what we have discussed till now is what is process costing. It is used by the companies who are into manufacturing business, and plus wherein the raw material has to pass through various processes before being converted into final product. Thereafter, we discussed the concept of normal loss, abnormal gain, Thereafter, what if in case, thereafter we discuss the full-fledged question on process costing. Further, what if in case, if the output of a process is transferred to the next process at cost plus profit. And thereafter we started with the concept of valuation of work in progress, wherein we discussed the basic questions. Now let's proceed further with the next part of the chapter, wherein if in a question normal loss is given, abnormal loss is given, or abnormal gain is given. So if any of the 3 points are given, then the point is how to prepare the statement of equivalent production. So when talking about normal loss, very simple guys, ignore it while preparing statement of equivalent production. If it is normal loss, better ignore it while preparing statement of equivalent production. The reason being the value of normal loss is absorbed by good units. That's why we ignore the units of the normal loss while preparing the statement of equivalent production. When talking about abnormal loss, the percentage of completion will be given in the question. So in case of abnormal loss, the percentage of completion of units that are scrapped will always be given in the question. As far as if any abnormal gain is concerned, then always assume while preparing statement of equivalent production, assume it is 100% complete. So if it is abnormal gain, we will assume that they are 100% process, whether it is material, labor, or overhead. As far as abnormal loss is concerned, the percentage of completion will always be given in the question. And if it is normal loss, then ignore it while preparing statement of equivalent production. So how to deal with normal loss, abnormal gain, abnormal loss in statement of equivalent production, I have already explained. If you guys have any doubt or query, you guys can please post. Else we'll proceed further with the next question, wherein equivalent advance question, that is example number 6 of the material what I have provided, we will be discussing. So waiting for your queries, guys. I request you guys to please copy this part. When talking about normal loss, ignore it while preparing statement of equivalent production. When talking about abnormal loss, the instructions are always given in the question ki kitna percent complete hua hai. Abnormal gain, always assume that it is 100% complete. Abdul, abnormal gain will be, we will assume that it is 100% complete. But as far as abnormal loss is concerned, the instructions are always given in the question ki kitna percent complete hai. So let's start with example number 6, that is equivalent advance. Following details are related to the work done in process A. This question I'm discussing from the material what I have provided. I request you guys to please download the material who have not downloaded the material. From the following details are related to the work done in process A of XYZ company during the month of March 2020. The opening work in progress is 2,000 units. The material is 80,000, labor cost is 15,000 and overhead cost is 45,000. Further, the material introduced into the process is 38,000 units and the cost is given. Further, the direct labor cost and overhead cost is also given. Units scrapped, the total amount of units scrapped is 3,000 units and the percentage of completion is also given, that is 100% in respect of material, and labor and overhead it is 80%. When talking about opening work in progress, the degree of completion is given in respect of 2,000 units, that is material cost is 100% complete and labor and overheads are already processed up to 60%. Closing work in progress, the degree of completion is also given, that is material 100%, labor and overheads 80%. Units finished and transferred to the next process is 35,000. The normal loss is 5% of the total input, including opening work in progress. The scrap value is rupees 20 per piece. You are required to prepare the statement of equivalent production, the statement of cost, the statement of distribution of cost, process A account, normal and abnormal loss account. So this is a full-fledged question. So let's start. Now we will be solving this question using, let's say, weighted average method. And thereafter, if the time permits, we will be discussing the same question using FIFO method also. So let's start, guys, with example number 6. Let's prepare process account first. I'm solving this question using weighted average method. If the time permits, we'll be discussing using FIFO method also. So let's start, guys. Two opening work in progress is 2,000 units. And the total cost of opening work in progress is 80,000 plus 15,000 plus 45,000. So the total cost is 1,40,000. When talking about the material cost, 38,000 units were introduced. And the total cost will be 14,80,000. The labor cost that is incurred is 3,59,000. Overhead cost is 10,77,000. By normal loss, it is given in the question. That is, normal loss is 5% of the input, total input. So 40,000 into 5%, that is 2,000 units. And the scrap value is also given, that is rupees 40,000. Further, the units transferred are, by units transferred to the next process, that is 35,000 units. Closing work in progress is also given. That is 2000 units. So herein we have 2000 units as opening work in progress, 38,000 as inputs during the year. So total we have 40,000 units. Out of 40,000 units, 2,000 is the normal loss, 35,000 is the units transferred, and 2,000 is the number of units that are still in process. So balance 1,000 units is what? My abnormal loss. Now we have to calculate the value of abnormal loss, value of the units that are transferred to the next process, and value of closing work in progress. In short, we have to distribute the total cost minus scrap value. So my total cost is 140 plus 14,80,000 plus 3,59,000 plus 10,77,000. So this is 30,56,000. Very good, Shivani. Very good, Dhyanesh. So let's start, guys. Statement of equivalent production. I'm solving using weighted average method. So the first column is particulars. Second is the total. Next is material. Since the percentage of completion of labor and overheads is same, so a single column for all the labor and overheads. Further, the percentage of completion and units. Very good, Sunil Kumar. Now let's start, guys. Let's start with the units that are transferred to the next process. Since we are using the weighted average method, no need to bifurcate ki opening work in progress pe kitna kaam hua or inputs pe kitna kaam hua. Very simple, write straight away the units that are transferred. So units transferred is how much? 35,000 units. Since they are transferred to the next process, so we will assume that they are 100% processed. So 35,000. Next is closing. Let's start with abnormal loss. The number of units of abnormal loss is 1,000 units. Now in the question it is given that units scrapped are 3,000. 3,000 means what? 2,000 in respect of normal loss and 1,000 in respect of abnormal loss. So this is how they got 3,000. And the percentage of completion is given, that is material is 100% complete. And the labor cost is 100. Labor and overheads are 80% complete. So this will be 800. The next is closing work in progress. The number of units are 2000. When talking about the percentage of completion of closing work in progress, that is also given in the question, that is 100% and 80%. So 100% material is introduced in respect of these 2000 units. And as far as labor and overheads is concerned, only 80% of the work is done, that is 1600. So this is how we will calculate that we'll get the total equivalent number of units. 38,000 in respect of material, and this in respect of labor and overhead, 35,000 plus 800 plus 1600. So this will be 37,400. Very good, Jyoti. Very good, Khushi. Jyoti, please check your answer. Yes, Dhyanesh, correct. Now, guys, let's start with statement showing calculation of cost per the first is material. Now, guys, I repeat again, since we are considered the units that are processed in this year plus the units that are processed in the previous year. So we will take the cost of this year as well as the cost that is incurred in the previous year to calculate the cost per unit. So the cost is this in year. The cost incurred this year in respect of material is 14,80,000. Plus the cost that is incurred in the previous year in respect of material is 80,000. Now, very important point, guys, please don't forget to deduct the scrap value that is realized on sale of normal loss minus the value realized that is savings in the cost, that is 40,000. This is what? The scrap value. Very important, guys. So don't forget to deduct the scrap value on sale of normal loss units, whole divided by 38,000, the equivalent number of units. I repeat again, 14,80,000 the cost incurred this year, plus 80,000 the cost of material incurred in the previous year, minus the scrap value realized on sale of normal loss. So 14,80,000 plus 80,000 minus 40,000 divided by 38,000. So my cost will be rupees 40 per unit. In respect of labor cost, the cost that is incurred in this year is 3,59,000 plus the cost incurred in the previous month is 15,000 divided by 37,400. So my cost per unit will be rupees 10. Further, when talking about overheads, the cost that is incurred in the current year is 10,77,000 plus the cost incurred in the previous year is 45,000 divided by the number of units, that is 37,400. So that is 30. So my total cost per unit will be rupees 80. Since we have got the cost per unit, next we will prepare the statement showing apportionment of cost. Wherein talking about the units transferred, the total units transferred are 35,000. Sorry. And the cost per unit is rupees 80. So this will be 28 lakh. The next is closing work in progress. When talking about the material cost in respect of closing work in progress, 2000 are the equivalent number of units into the cost per unit is 40. Similarly, for labor, the equivalent number of units is 1600 into 10. And overheads, 1600 into 30. So this will be 1,44,000. Now, abnormal loss. Again, the three parts, that is material cost in respect of the units that are scrapped. That is 1000 units into 40. In respect of labor, the total equivalent number of units are 800, 800 into 10. And overheads 800 into 10. So this is how the cost is distributed. So abnormal loss value is 72,000. The units that are transferred to the next process is 28 lakh, and this is 1 lakh. So this is how you have to solve the full-fledged question. Again, कोई rocket science नहीं है. What I have understood is that many of the students are scared of such type of question wherein the examiner asks questions on abnormal loss, abnormal gain. Trust me, guys, there is no rocket science behind the concept of equivalent number of units. Very simple. Go follow the steps. Solve the question with a peace of mind, you will get the answer. So now waiting for your queries. Further, I request you guys to please copy the solution and the presentation. Very good, Abdul. Very good, Shivani. Mr. Aslam, this 80,000 is given in the question. I have not taken any random figure or I have not apportioned any cost. These figures are given in the question. Very good, Sunil. Very good, Mohammed. Very good, Abdul. Very good, Prachi. Your answer is correct. Vedant Vora, sir, why we deduct scrap value only from material, not from other? See, at the end of the day, we have to deduct total 40,000. We have to deduct total 40,000. And since when talking about the normal loss, it is normal loss of material involved in the process. So we will assume that the material is sold in the market. That's why we have reduced it from the cost of material. Very good, Jyoti. Very good, Priyanka. Mr. Aslam, this information will always be given in the question, my dear. Geet Chauhan, very good. Your answers are correct. Abdul, yes, your answers are correct. Very good, Priyanka. Very good, Alok. Miss Akram Ansari, Akarma Ansari, sorry, Miss Ansari, sir, while calculating material cost per unit, normal loss per unit will not be deducted. See, I have deducted 40,000, that is the scrap value realized on sale of normal loss. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your query. Kavita Chandak, Sraboni Das, and Priyanka, any doubts? Priyanka Chandak, Sraboni Das, any doubts? Shreya Shah, any doubts? Kushi, any doubts? Yes, very good, Abdul. Your answers are correct. Yes, Mr. Aslam, your answer is correct. Prachi Kapoor, any doubts? Vedant, any doubts? Waiting for your queries, guys. By the end of this session, I want each and every student of mine to be thorough with the concepts of process costing. So whatever the doubts you have, please post your queries, guys. Giving you 2 minutes time. Thank you so much, Sunil Kumar. Just follow the steps and the procedure and stick to your concepts. You will be able to solve, Sunil. Okay, Prachi Kapoor, sir, please explain the calculation of normal loss. See, Prachi, these 2,000 units are normal loss and the scrap value realized is rupees 20. So this is how I got 40,000. Now, we will assume that these 40,000 is deducted. See, this is the best possible assumption. So the scrap value that is realized on sale of normal loss will always be deducted from the cost of material. When talking about material, labor and overhead, the best approach to deduct normal loss is from the cost of material. So that's why I have deducted 40,000. This 40,000, that is the value of normal loss from the cost of material. नई कविता आंसर अलग अलग आता है if it is weighted average method and if it is FIFO method. Weighted average method में weighted average cost करते हैं. Ultimately, this 30,56,000 minus 40,000, that is 30,16,000 is to be distributed among three. But the ratio will change if we are using weighted average method. Yes, Prachi, hopefully your query is resolved. So how come I got this 2,000? See, it is given that the normal loss is 5% of the total input. That is the input made during the year plus the opening work in progress. The question has clearly mentioned also that the normal loss is 5% of the total input, including work in progress. So how much is my total input? 2,000 plus 38,000. So 2,000 plus 38,000 into 5%. This is how I got this normal loss units of 2000. See, Miss Ansari, total we have 40,000 units in hand. Of these 40,000 units, that is 38,000, that is the units that are introduced in the process, plus the 2,000 that is opening work in progress. Of these 40,000 units, 2,000 is my normal loss, 35,000 is my units that are transferred to the next process, and 2,000 is my closing work in progress. So balance 1,000 units is my abnormal loss. No worries, Prachi, that's okay, I understand. So guys, now this is all what about weighted average method. Now a classwork for you. I want you guys to solve the same question using FIFO method. Solve the same question using FIFO method. Still we have half an hour time. So let's take a break of 10 minutes. So it's a break for me, not for you guys. So solve the question using FIFO method and please post the answer. I'll be discussing the FIFO method after the break. But in the meanwhile, do solve and post your answer. And guys, don't rush कि मेरा first आएगा या उसका first आएगा. I want correct answer. That is very important. Your answer should be correct. That's what it is. So let's take a break of 10 minutes. After break, I'll be back with I'll be expecting answers from all of you, everyone. So let's take a break of 10 minutes. Welcome back, guys. So now waiting for your answers. Okay, the Jyoti Jha is first one to answer, wherein she has calculated the answer as, let me check, Jyoti. Let me check your answer, Jyoti. Dhyanesh, very good. Your answer is correct. Jyoti, your answer is incorrect. I've got a correct answer from Dhyanesh. Please post the final answer, Dhyanesh. Yes, everyone, waiting for your answers. Prachi Kapoor, Miss Ansari, Pranav, Mr. Aslam, Vedant, Sunil Kumar, Mohammed, Manisha, incorrect answers. I have not got any correct answers. I think the cost per unit of Dhyanesh was correct. Alok, your answer is incorrect. Jyoti Jha, your answer is 29. Jyoti Jha, your answer is correct, but not completely. Miss Ansari, incorrect answer. Prachi Kapoor, incorrect answer. Abdul, your answers. So I have got correct answer, that is from Mr. Abdul. Abdul, all your answers are correct. Very good, Abdul. All your answers are correct, Abdul. So guys, now let's start with the solution. I have to discuss this question because many were not being able to answer. So let's discuss this question using FIFO method. So when talking about these 35 units that are transferred to the next process, Since we are using FIFO method, so we'll assume that 2000 units will be from opening work in progress. As far as percentage of completion of opening work in progress, the material is already introduced in the process in the previous year itself. So nothing was done in respect of material. As far as labor and overheads is concerned, 60% was completed. It means 40% work was done during the current year. 60% of the work was completed in the previous year. So it means 40% work was done in this year. So this will be 800. Thereafter, units started and completed. That is 33,000. 100%, 33,000. 100%, 33,000. So this is all what about units that are transferred, that is 35,000 units. When talking about abnormal loss, the units are 1,000. Now, the percentage of completion of abnormal loss is 100% in respect of material. So that is 1,080%. For closing work in progress, the units are 2,000. They are 100% completed in respect of material and 80% completed in respect of labor and overheads. So this will be 1,600. So this will be 36,000. And this will be 800 plus 33,000 plus 800 plus 1,600. So this will be 36,200. When calculation of cost per unit, this represents the work done during the current year. So we'll take the cost of current year, that is 14,80,000, minus the scrap value, that is 40,000, whole divided by 36,000. So the cost per unit will be 40. When talking about labor cost, the cost incurred is 3,59,000, and the equivalent number of units are 36,200. So this will be 9.917. In case of overheads, the cost is 10,77,000 divided by 36,200. So this will be 29.751. Now the statement showing apportionment of the total cost. So when talking about units transferred, the opening work in progress, the cost that is already incurred, that is given in the question, that is 1,40,000. Work in progress further processed in respect of only labor and overhead, because material work was done last year itself, so labor and overheads, it's 800 is the equivalent number of units, so 800 and 800 into 9.917 and 29.751. So this will be 3.1778. Further units started and completed is 33,000 units into the total cost, that is 29.751 plus 9.971. Now this is about units transferred, now closing work in progress. As far as material cost is concerned, it is 2000 into 40. Labor is concerned, it is 1600 into 9.917, and overheads also 1600 into 29.751. So this is the way you guys have to solve the question. Now let me check who were able to answer it correctly. So Mr. Aslam, your answer was incorrect. Manisha Bin Panchal, 79.67. Yes, your answer was correct. 39.77. Yes, your answer was correct. Prachi Kapoor, in respect of labor and overheads. Very good, Sunil Kumar. Very good, Geet Chauhan. Yes, your answers are correct. Khushi, please check your answer. Mr. Aslam, please check your answer. Prachi Kapoor, incorrect answer. Very good, Aslam. Very good, Dhyanesh. Your answer is correct. Sunil Kumar, your answer is very good. Your answer is correct, but please check the value of the units that are transferred. हाँ जी, Miss Ansari, information दी गई है. Please check the question. When in respect of opening work in progress, the degree of completion is given, that is material cost is 100% done in the previous year and the labor cost is completed up to 60%. So 40% work is to be done this year. Further, Miss Ansari, 60% work is completed की information दी गई है. Very good, everyone. Answer will be different, Uday. So now done with this part. I hope you guys are thorough with what is the concept of valuation of work in progress. If you guys have any conceptual queries, then guys, please post your query. It's up to you. Both the approaches are correct. Even your answer is also correct. Please check the question, Uday. It is there in the material. Uday, I request you to please check the material what I have provided. It is there in the material itself. Piyush Chaurasia, as far as abnormal loss is concerned, we will ignore the scrap value. However, while preparing abnormal loss account, we'll assume that the units that are scrapped will be similar to the normal loss and the balance amount will be transferred to costing P&L. Piyush. Sir, can you please explain process 2 calculation? Please elaborate your query, Vedant. Again, I'm telling you guys, I have made few changes in the question. So please refer the material what I have provided rather than referring the study material. Geet Chauhan, better you can use up to 2 decimal or 3 decimal. Both the approaches are correct. There may be rounding of differences. The examiner do ignore the rounding of differences. Don't worry. Thank you so much, Sunil Kumar. Yes, Priyanka, Jyoti, Shivani, any doubts? Abdul, any doubts? Pranav, Alok, Sunil Kumar Barik, Sunil Kumar, any doubts? Saraboni Das, I hope you are thorough with the concept of valuation of work in progress. Sir, the value that I have written in process account in press of procedure, this is the value you are asking for. So here, when talking about the units transferred, first we will figure out that how much is the cost that is incurred in the previous year. That is 1,40,000 on these 2,000 units. ये 2,000 यूनिट्स पे हमने पिछले साल कितना खर्च किया था 1,40,000. यही 2,000 यूनिट्स को हमने फर्दर प्रोसेस किया इन द करंट ईयर and we have spent 31,734 in the current year. So this is the cost of the 2,000 units, that is the units that are opening work in progress. And further, this is the cost of the units that are, this is the cost of the units that are input, that are processed 100% during the year. That is the units started and completed. So the total of these two will be the value of units that are transferred to the next process. I have used the best possible assumptions today, so no need to assume anything else. Apart from this, there are two methods as suggested by ICAI. Else, so whatever you want to do in exams, you can do. But yes, do mention in footnote that I have assumed so and so. But why to take chances? Why to take risk? अगर examiner का दिमाग खराब हुआ तो zero दे देगा. So much depends upon what examiner thinks. So still, if you want to do any sort of stunts, better write what you have assumed. Lots and lots of practice is required, Pranav. Now, guys, there was some network connectivity in the previous class. That's why I was not being able to take process costing in the previous session. However, we have completed process costing in this session. So the session that was allocated to joint and byproduct, we will inform you that when we will be discussing joint and byproduct, the next session we will start with service costing. I'll just check out if any session is allocated in between for joint and byproduct. If not, then yes, once all the chapters will get over, we'll be discussing joint and byproduct in detail after completion of marginal costing. So sorry for the inconvenience. There was some network connectivity from our end, so we're not being able to take the lecture in the previous session, that is on Wednesday. So guys, a request from my side, try to solve all the questions of study material and past practice manual. And further, the questions on concept of valuation of work in progress is asked by the examiners in the previous few attempts. So I request you to please solve the questions of past examination also. Try to solve as much as possible for more clarity of concepts. Further, anything else, any doubts? As far as the presentation is concerned, you can do this type of presentation in exams. It is acceptable. Apart from this, try to solve all the questions of the practice manual also, because there are very good questions in practice manual. So try to solve these questions. I have the next class on Sunday of service costing. So I'll be starting with service costing on Sunday. So till then, guys, take care of yourself. Enjoy your Saturday and your Friday. It's a weekend now. So let's meet up on Sunday morning with a new chapter, that is service costing. So thank you so much, guys, for your time and patience. I'll be uploading my notes on service costing. And in previous batches, I discussed few questions. But in this lecture, in this batch, I'll be discussing all together few fresh questions also, some from past examination also. So before joining the session on Sunday, I request you guys to please download the material. So that's it for the day, guys. Thank you so much for your time and patience. God bless you. Work hard, practice hard. Try to solve questions in writing. Thank you so much, guys. Sir, session concluded.